Hey guys, this is Alan from Quinkery Tropicals, and today I'm giving you a tour of all my banana varieties that I have in the ground. Tonight we're expecting cold temperatures, and usually banana plants are cold sensitive. At least the foliage is cold sensitive, so the leaves will turn brown and die back. So I want to show you before the actual winter hits, so you have an idea what they look before and after winter. Alright, this is the biggest variety that I have in the ground, guys. It has been in the ground for a few years, I think 3 to 4 years. I lose count. I have 3 varieties. Actually, I have Orinoco, which is a burro banana. Then I have gold finger. Then I got Puerto Rican plantains. Alright, so 3 different varieties. I found out I had another variety this year because they actually fully ripened, and then I got to taste the fruit, and then those were not Goldfinger, they were actually the Orinoco bananas. But anyways, these are the biggest varieties that I have in the ground. They're about 20 to 25 feet tall, and when I first put them in the ground, they were just as little 1-gallon plants, like maybe 12 inches tall, but they're huge. Problem with bigger varieties in my area is they get top heavy, and any amount of wind they break. Look, I got some plantains over there, so those guys are gonna have to harvest before they freeze on the plant. But yeah, this year we had tons of bananas because the winter temperatures last winter were really warm, so we allow the plants to hold their flowers, and since flowers take months and months to ripen, well, they got the time to actually ripen fully. Look, more bananas over there, huge rack of bananas. That's amazing, guys. Yeah, so these are the 3 varieties that I have back here. So now let's go look at the next one. All right, this one right here is it's a Ladyfinger variety. I'm not 100% sure. Initially I thought it was a dwarf Nangwa, but the flowers are bigger than the Nangwa because I have another Nangwa in another area. Yeah, I know 100% that's a Nangwa, so the flowers are a little different, but the fruits taste the same, and they're about the same size too. So this one's been here for between 2 to 3 years. I forget how long. But yeah, I got fruit right there, and this is a dwarf variety, so the leaves are usually bigger than the taller varieties, and they only get about 8 to about 12 feet tall, and the actual pseudo stems, which people will call the trunk, they're a lot thicker. So this variety right here, or the dwarf varieties, they do better in my area, especially with the wind, because they don't break as easy. So that's the Ladyfinger right here, which I'm not sure which Ladyfinger it is. This little guy right here is a Nain banana. And believe it or not, this one's just as old as those huge ones that you saw at the beginning. Now, the reason this one's so little is because when I first put it in the ground, it was almost winter. And surprisingly, it did not die. All the leaves died off, it died to the ground, but it made it, it came back. Then, that year, a gopher ate the roots, and then it stunted the plant from growing, so it literally did not do anything that year. So it took about 2 years to fully root itself in the ground afterwards, and now this past year it decided to grow. So that's this one right here. You can see this is the grind name. I like the grind name because the fruits taste just like a Cavendish, and they're supposed to actually be more vigorous and grow faster and give you tons of fruits. So this is a grind name, but you know, I made mistakes. I planted it too late before the winter. On top of that, gopher ate the roots, and on top of that, the area I put it in, you know, like 3-4 years ago, I wasn't that experienced. I thought banana plants needed shade. Well, once your banana plants are actually fully rooted in the ground, your leaves are not going to take any damage from the sun, even if it's 120 degrees, because then the plant's strong enough to withstand the sun, and it actually needs the sun to grow. So this area is too shaded. So that's why this one right here hasn't grown that much, because it's just too shaded in here, guys. So if you're planting bananas, even here in the desert, guys, they need sun. And this one has been in the ground for about 2.5 to 3 years. But this is the plant's not sick, it's not dying, it's not because I didn't water or fertilize it. Well, this is normal, especially after the fruit. We had tons of fruits this year. So once your banana plants, like this nice big looking one right here, once it's done fruiting, like this one right here, you can see most of my fruits did not take because, well, it was just so hot, and that's what happens. But anyways, once they're done fruiting, that nice looking banana right there will die back. It will dehydrate, it will dry out, and then eventually it will just become a bunch of dead leaves, just like this one right here if you don't cut it. But yeah, this is the dwarf one of my favorites. The leaves are huge compared to the regular varieties that are taller, and the pseudostems, which is a trunk for most plants, they get a lot bigger, so they can take a lot of the wind that we get here in the monsoon. But yeah, this one right here actually took a little while to take off, but then once it got a little bigger, you can see the opening over there, it actually gets the sun. So it was able to actually get the sun, thankfully, and then that allowed the plant to grow. Remember, banana plants need sun. If they don't get sun, they grow a lot slower. And over here we have Manzano banana, which is the apple banana. I had the fruit on this one, and the Manzano means apple, so I guess the name comes from the aftertaste you get from eating the banana. It's supposed to have a appleish, I guess, flavor. To be honest, guys, I had the fruit from all the plants that I have here, and they all taste very similar. Now, this variety right here, it's not as tall as the first ones that I showed you. It's about, I would say, fully grown, 12 to 15 feet tall. And look, you see over there, guys? I got a flower coming up all the way over there. I mean, come on, we're freezing tonight. It's just, you know, that's what happens when you grow plants in areas where they are not native to. They just do whatever they want, and that's not good for the plant. But anyways, this one's been in the ground for about 2-3 years. I lose count, and we had tons of fruit this year. It did take a little while to grow because this area here is shaded, but once the banana actually got over the wall, it started getting the sun from over there, and then it took off. But yeah, it took a while to grow because it was too shaded. But yeah, this is the Manzano right here. Let's check the next ones. This one right here is a praying hands banana, and as you can see, it's got flowers, and it thinks it's just gonna fruit and make me happy, which it's not, because now the whole plant right there, it's just gonna die back, and I'm not gonna even be able to get the fruits because we're freezing tonight. But anyways, praying hands banana, this one was planted almost at the same time as the Grand Nain. The one in between the pine trees that was too, you know, that's small, and it got eaten by the gophers, too shaded, and then I planted it late. Well, I did the same with this one, but the difference between this one and that one, you can tell this one's way bigger, is this one, it's in the open, so it got the sun, so it was never lacking sun. And number two is the gophers did not eat the root system of this one here. So this one was able to actually make it back from being planted too late in the season, and it actually started growing. So you can tell the difference in plants when you give them the right conditions to grow. So this is the praying hands. Now this one over here, it's a little harder to see. Let's see if I can get in there. Oh well, you're gonna have to be happy with just that. So this one right here, it's a rajapuri banana. So this one has been in the ground 2-3 years, and then they grow amazingly, they fruit. But just until this year, that area was completely open, so there were no castor plants around it, shading it. So my fruits, they got destroyed by the sun in the summer. Even though the plant doesn't take any damage from the sun, the fruits that will get sunburned, especially if it's like extreme temperatures in the summer. So I haven't been able to get fruit out of that one because, well, it just, they sunburn and then they spoil. So that's a rajapuri right there. And then over here I have another rajapuri, and this one fruited. You can tell that plant's not sick, it's just drying out just because, well, it fruited, and that's what happens when plants plant's fruit. They just die off afterwards unless you cut them. But you see over there, I got some suckers, pops coming up. Those are gonna become the new plants. And yeah, so this guy's been in the ground 2-3 years. They did struggle a little bit because this area here, well, there was a gopher that was coming from the neighbor's yard over there, and I did not see his mounds, and he was just destroying the root system because the roots are very juicy and sweet, so they loved them. But yeah, and I was wondering why they were not growing, and it was not the water, guys. It was not the fertilizer. It was usually, it's something when your plants are not growing, bananas specifically, it's two things. One is they're not fully rooted in the ground, so the plant's not ready to grow up. So that's the main reason why. And reason number two is, well, something's going on to the root system. And then that was the problem with this one. A gopher was actually eating the roots, and then it was preventing the banana from fully rooting itself in the ground, and then that's why it was not growing. I almost forgot, this is the ice cream banana. As you can see, this one already took damage from the cold. I'm taking this video probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks after the initial one that you guys are watching right now. But anyways, tonight we're expecting our first freeze for the winter, actual forecasted freeze. We have been in the high 20s here several times already, as you guys can tell. But when it's actually forecasted, that means I'm gonna be really cold. So I'll be recording the temperatures. Anyways, ice cream banana. It's been in the ground a few years. It did take a while to actually take off because as you can see, this area is too shaded. It gets shade from the Palo Verde tree there, and then my house. So it really did not start growing until it was able to grow above the roof of my house. And this year we actually had about 4 flowers out of it. But yeah, right now I only have 2 shoots coming off the ground because the other ones just broke off from, you know, flowering this year. Ice cream banana. The last one, this one right here, guys. That one back there, it's a little prince. Fully mature, he only grows about 2-3 feet tall. It has been in the ground several years now, maybe about 3.5. It took forever to grow because I planted it late. It got frost damage. It died back to the ground. It came back. It got ate by the chickens. It came back, and now it's looking nice. But that is the little prince, and that is the last variety that we have in the ground. But anyways, guys, so those are all the banana varieties that I have in the ground. I lost count. You can count them. Banana plants are very easy to grow in my area. Are you gonna get tons of fruits? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. As you can see, a lot of my plants are flowering right now, but we're freezing tonight, and those flowers and fruits are just gonna spoil. It's just the way it works here. Bananas grow very easily. Here in the winter time, we give them 0 water. Water is the main killer of bananas. They rot because they hold so much water, and the soil takes so long to dry in between watering in the winter time that if you add any water on top of that, it's just gonna rot your bananas, and yeah, your bananas will die. I'll do another video, guys, to show you in the middle of winter what they look like, because when people come in and I tell them bananas are the easiest plants to grow here, and then they look at my bananas all dead looking in the winter, they're like, yeah, right. But yeah, it's just the way it works, guys. They look ugly in the winter and they look amazing during the growing season. But anyways, any questions, comments, comment below, and then we'll see you next time, guys.